Beautiful people, welcome back to another episode of the Ignite Your Purpose show. I am yours truly, Mr. Storyteller, the guy who talks a lot, the guy who tells stories. This is Ignite Your Purpose. We talk longevity through a healthy lifestyle. A mix of the mental, physical, and spiritual knowledge, that mind, body, soul trifecta, baby. We are trying to be better than we were before, and that is through the understanding of our self-worth. The fact that nothing external is ever going to please us. Everything has to come from within. None of us are taught that. I'm 13 years plus deep in the game and finally starting to understand that. I don't have a full grasp of it, and it's not something you can change overnight, but it's something we want to spit here daily. You have to love yourself. You have to be accepting of yourself, and to be better, it comes from within. Now, a talk that I was just blessed to be part of, a scientific gentleman who was absolutely and unapologetically not politically correct, with a gentleman who had no facts and was totally politically correct but used all the right words. The fat tax is what this conversation was about, all right? Do I agree with that term? I don't know. Do I think it's clickbait? Yes. It is what it is. If you're overweight, you're overweight. If you have a fat bank account, PHAT, compared to a skinny bank account, or broke, these are just words. And if they trigger you or they trigger me, then again, that's going back to what I said at the very start of this. If a word triggers you, you are not happy with inside yourself. You are looking for something external to blame, and this goes so deep. Now, anyway, the whole point of this conversation was this gentleman, and we might have all seen this online, you might have seen it on the news, but the U.S. military and the U.S. government released some staggering facts that around 20% of the Navy, all right, these are the people defending, or that could possibly defend our countries. I'm not American, but you know what I'm saying, right? I'm sure this goes into more than just the American countries, the American country, into many other countries where a good portion of its people are now chunky. I hope that's not offending anybody other. I'm not trying to say and disrespect anybody when I'm saying that. So is this an issue? And we went deeper into some of the facts. And okay, you had an obesity rate of 20%, but then there's people who weren't that strong, and there were numbers of people who didn't have high cardio. So these numbers, they're pretty major, to be honest. And then we looked into other forms of the reports that came up from the U.S. government of how those numbers then affect the medical costs, right? Who's paying for this? These staggering, we might not say abuse of the system, but strain on the system costs somebody money. And a lot of us think that these systems are free, but that is not a fair statement. That's why this guy was mentioning the fat tax, because to make something free, us, the people, those who work day in and day out to put a roof over our head, put clothes on our back, and food in our belly, are taxed. All right, politically correct or unpolitically correct, a lot of us would still say that we are in some form of just think about the Matrix. All right, we are just a bunch of sheep, man, and there's people at the top of that pyramid. These are facts. This is how it works. And I'm not trying to get into conspiracy theory, but I'm just stating what it is. We go to work every day, we pay taxes to simply provide for society, which is a good thing. I'm not trying to negate that. But if there are those who don't understand, because none of us are ever talking, we don't understand health, we don't understand food, we don't understand how to use our body, we don't understand how cardio affects the lungs, we don't understand how these things affect the mind to keep us healthy and happy. We don't understand that those all come from within. We have to be happy with ourselves. And if you know what, you have a little junk in your trunk, as we like to say, and you're happy with that, so be it. However, if you're carrying that much extra weight where your knees hurt, your back hurts, you run out of air all the time, and then you have to be going into the medical system to kind of alleviate those pains. Now we're getting into the teetery spot of, are you a strain? And because we are uneducated, or because of laziness in certain aspects from certain people, that may not be you, that may not be me, or maybe it is, but then we need to have the discussion, is a fat tax required? As unpolitically correct as that is it something that makes sense? There are a lot of people who think that gender transitions should be a free service. And to me, that's an interesting, slippery slope to slide down as well. If you want to do that, hey man, all the power to you. But should other people be paying for that, or should you work your ass off for that? For myself, should somebody else pay for my next music video, or should I pay for that? We get into these weird little conundrums where what's right and what's wrong, and how deep down this politically correct road do we go, and where does all this money come from? Very, very staggering. And I found it interesting that the politically incorrect guy, who was a bit abrasive, but man, he seriously had some good facts, and the guy who spoke properly and softly, he just kept, kind of almost like airy-fairy tree hugging, where it'll all work out in the end. And you know what, there could be some truth to that too. Something I just wanted to point out. But you know what, it does start with us and it does end with us, people. It's something we have to take care of. If you want to be better, especially in that mind, especially in that body, you have to use it. If you don't use it, at some point you will lose it. And I preach this all the time, but you don't know how good you can feel. This year I did something new, starting kind of our spring-ish summertime. I started waking up at 4:35 a.m. in the morning, and I hadn't done that ever before. And I've done that consistently. We're now into September, and I'm telling you, even that was a mind changer. It was a body changer. It was an energy changer. And I don't think I'll go back now, because waking up that early when nobody else is awake, oh man. It's just these little things daily, people, that we do every day as we age, as we get older, to be better, that change us. And it changes from within. And I'm going to leave it there. I want to thank you as always. Do a little research. Make yourself better. You're going to feel better. And those around you are going to, through osmosis, be better too. Peace. We're going to talk to you tomorrow.